It's been a little while. I'll wait for a few people to get in here. Ugh. How's that? Can I do that? Probably can't. How's that? No. No. Wait, what if I... Yeah, no. Yeah. It's no good. What if... Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Well, I'll wait for more people to join. Ugh. Ah. Okay. Can I see the chat? Here's the chat. Say something, guys, because I can't see anything. How the hell did you shoehorn a huge truck into your garage? It's a great question. All right, so why here in my garage? Well, hey, what's up, Dan? Many of you may recall there was this guy who went viral on YouTube a while ago. And he had all these ads, and he would just be like, "Oh, I'm just here in my garage," you know, and in the background's like a Lamborghini, and he's like, "Oh, but you know, I value more than all this stuff is knowledge." That's what. So he's like knowledge, and so I feel like I'm having a garage moment in my life, and I just figured I'd want to talk about it. I've talked about it a lot in Discord, but the people in there, generally speaking, are pretty toxic. Not that I'm expecting too much more out of the live stream, but I have to be honest. I want to ride the Lambo. How's it going, Q? Nice of you to come by, and actually, this ties in well because I wanted to talk to you anyway. So you have done landlording. I don't want to do landlording, but I do want to do real estate investing. And there's a number of strategies to do that, but they all basically tie in with acquiring a property and renting it. That's essentially it. I don't want hands-on with that. I'm going to pay a property manager. Yep, flipping houses. Yep. There's a particular strategy that I will probably utilize a lot, probably to, in its extreme form, because it's the fastest way to acquire properties. And it's been nicknamed by the people over at biggerpockets.com. It's called the BRRRR method, and it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So you buy a property, you rehab it, increase its value, you rent it, and then you refinance it. So when you refinance it, hopefully, if you've done it right, you will have increased the value of the property enough to pull the money you spent on the deal back out so that you can spend it again, or if you use like a lender to acquire the property, you can pay back your lender. So, yeah. Can't make that much in rents. Yeah. So my strategy is going to be the burr strategy, although it might not be like a perfect, they might not be perfect burrs, but we'll see. We'll just see how that goes. I think I'm going to focus on small single family homes, like 3 bedroom, 1 bath, maybe 1.5 bath, a basement, unfinished basement, hopefully. And these are good property with a garage. These are good properties because they usually have things about them that can be changed, and that can add value. So if you have a 3-1, you can usually find a way to make it a 3-2, get some value out of that extra bathroom. And you can also look at finishing the basement. Finishing a basement, a lot of the times, depends on the property. It's not always the same. No, hey Sean, not really showing off leg here. I'm just talking about. Well, okay, so let me back up just a step. The last time I talked to the live stream, I was attending school online with this company. They paid for the tuition, but the problem with that is I don't have a plan for that education. I wasn't getting any value out of it, and then, long story short is I quit, and I feel really good about that decision. It was hard to make that choice, but I'm not interested in traditional education. I'm not interested in it. And I started looking into real estate and reading books, listening to audiobooks, and it makes sense. Real estate makes sense. I can wrap my head around that process. It's not a complicated process, and people have been using it. It's a tried and true method, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a real estate investor, and it's going to start by renting out my house, and it's going to be great. I've talked to a property management company, and they do a lot of the exact type of work that I need. They provide the exact type of service I need. They also act as a real estate broker, so they work with real estate investors a lot too. They have a great, they have a good understanding of the area, and they have worked with people who are basically in my exact same position, and it's great. It's great. They're a great resource to network with. So I've got that. That's one thing that I've already got lined up. And maybe early this coming year, I will begin getting my house rent ready. I'll move all of my shit out and, make a couple of changes, make it rent ready. And we'll see how that goes. Let's see. I have, getting a real estate license, that's definitely doable, and I think I am going to do that. I've started studying a lot of vocabulary. I've started looking at what is it going to take to actually pass the tests. And the main advantage to getting the real estate license is that I can act as my own agent, and I can cut out that fee. Now, in the scheme of things, in the long run, that fee is going to be a big deal, and the sooner I get it, the better. But I'm honestly not that worried about it right now. And the other advantage of getting a real estate license is that I would be able to join, with more work, I would be able to join the National Association of Realtors, I think that's what it's called, and they get access to something called the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it seems like it's something that, you know, a lot of agents have access to, and they're going to use that to get access to different deals and uh, just have a better eye on the market as it changes, and you know, they can be ahead of a lot of things. They'll be ahead of other investors who don't have access to that resource. Yeah, okay, so Q, that's really great information to know. I have heard of some people rather, like, they'll acquire a property, and because of the location, they'll do an Airbnb rather than a rental. And they can make a lot of money doing that. They can make, you know, a rental in that area might make, you know, 1,200 a month in rent. But if they do an Airbnb, some months they might only make 500, but some months they might make 3,000. And so on average, they double. You know, this particular house that was doubling its potential cash flow with that, and that's really interesting. The areas I'll be investing in to start out with, I don't think we'll have much Airbnb potential, but you know, I could be wrong. You know, that's what's so great about this, is that there's a million different ways to do real estate, and it's something that I'm gonna be able to do while I'm not there. I won't have to be there. Yeah, I hear you, Sean. Yeah, it has to be fully furnished. Yep. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You know, yeah, yeah, I'll probably have to drop a couple grand, maybe more, to furnish a place. But you know, you could do bunk beds. Those are fairly inexpensive. You could probably you get, like, you know, basic furniture. You make it look a little bit nice, a little bit homey. Get a few knickknacks and doodads around the place. Maybe a dartboard. You know, dartboard, you're gonna get darts in the wall, but you know, these are costs of doing business, and I'm honestly not that worried about it. It's real estate is scalable. Yeah, appliances too. Yep. That's what's so nice about real estate, is it's scalable. So there's no limit to how many properties I can buy. So using the BRRRR method, I'll get significant amounts of my money back out of the deal, and that property will be generating me a small amount of money, and will also be building equity. It'll be charging up like a battery. Okay, so you can use the BRRRR method to get lots of properties, but you don't have to do the BRRRR method. And if you don't do the BRRRR method, like me, so if I mix and match the strategies, like let's say 1 year I do a BRRRR, and then, you know, immediately after that BRRRR, let's say I get all my money back out of the deal, ideal situation here. Then I take that money, I put it as a down payment on, you know, another property. I pay, you know, 50% of that property. Now the mortgage payment I have on that property isn't very high at all. So I've got the BRRRR property, which is cash flowing, let's say like $50 or something, because it's, you know, after expenses and everything, it's going to be pretty low, and I'm going to be setting money aside for that specific property for maintenance costs. Like every month I'll be setting money aside for that, so that you develop a cash pool, so that when something does go wrong, you can just tell the property management team, there's the money, use that money. But then the other property, the property I didn't BRRRR, that I've got a significant equity in, that one is generating significantly more cash flow. So I would have two properties. One is charging up, this is dead battery, and then the other one's like a half charge battery or something, and it's charging up and generating me cash flow. And I could reinvest that money into the property, but I don't think I will, unless there's like a specific reason to. But then I can do all of this while I'm working. So I can go back to work while those two properties are charging up, and over the course of a year while I'm working and making more money, they won't charge up that much, but I'll be able to save up a bunch more money. Maybe not enough to do an entire BRRRR, but enough certainly to put a down payment on another property. But I'll probably have to work for a little while longer to get enough money together to do a proper BRRRR. That's if, now this is all if I don't use lenders. If I use lenders, you don't ever have to stop. But the thing is, my risk tolerance, I don't think I want to use lenders. That would worry me too much about debt. What if I don't get the deal right? What if there are unforeseen costs that, because I overlooked something in my research I didn't catch. So there's a lot of things like that. But I think with careful research and budgeting, if I save up my money and I pursue good deals and I don't go over my budget, I prepare for unforeseen expenses, and I don't offer, after I'm all in on the deal, I don't want to have all the money I've saved up in the deal. I want to only put part of that money in. I like having mortgages. Makes it easy to pay insurance and taxes. It does make it easy to pay. Yeah, it does. But I will be running a business. I will be running a real estate business. I will be looking at this as a way to become financially free and never have to work anymore. So as it scales, my income will grow. As I have more properties, slowly over time, over years and years and years, they will get paid down. The amount of money they will generate will increase. They will appreciate. And as I gain financial freedom, I'll start looking for, and I will consider financial freedom the point where the money generated from the rent is greater than the money I can earn. So a lot of people might consider financial freedom to be the point where your passive income overtakes your living expenses. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as the amount of money I can earn by working. When that's overcome by passive income, that's when I will feel comfortable not working anymore. And once that happens, I may still work though, because I'll want to squeeze in some more properties. And once that happens, I'll probably start looking at some of the smaller properties and the ones that aren't performing as well, and I'll sell them and roll that equity through a 1031. I'll roll it into a larger property, probably a multiplex, and I'm not sure what area that'll be in yet. It's always more than your mortgage payments. Do you rent by the room? But I mean, look, Q, you manage your own properties, right? So yes, owning property is work, but it's not. If I pay a management company to manage the properties for me, I'm not actually doing very much work right out of the gate. That eliminates a huge amount of the work that I would be putting in if I was managing that property. If I pay them, that's great. That's out of it. And so then what I have to do is think about, okay, so how do I manage the money I have for this property? What kind of expenses am I going to have to pay for over time? And how can I budget for that? And so that's great. Oh man, Q, that's awesome. Multifamilies. Yeah, that's where I've thought about house hacking a multifamily, and I haven't ruled that out yet, but right now the first thing I want to do is get my current house rented, and so I'm in kind of a transitioning phase. But if I could find a good multiplex and house hack a multiplex, I think that'd be great. Multiplexes are very attractive for investors. Yeah, I remember you talking about this a while ago, Q, and I just like, I don't know, nothing about it clicked when you talked about it, and then over time, I don't know, something eventually clicked, and now I think, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. So, I'm not sure what kind of scale you have going on with your real estate, but you do manage your own properties, and you know there's nothing wrong with that. You're saving money. You're getting a larger cut of that rent by managing the property yourself. But I have to think that you would be able to make more money if you didn't manage them. You paid a manager or a management company to manage them for you, and you put your resources and your assets together to acquire more properties and then have those be managed. But you know, everybody has their own stuff. They've got their own plan, they've got their own goals, and they've got their own temperament. So whatever I choose to do to be right for me, you know, I'm not saying that that's like what you should do. But that is the reason I am not going to be managing my own properties, because I won't have time. I don't want to do that. I don't have the skills to do that, and I don't want to learn those skills. You know, look at these hands. Look at these hands. I have soft hands, okay? Your plan was to own all the houses on the block. That's ambitious. It's an ambitious plan. How close have you gotten? How much of the block do you own? I like that plan. It's a nice plan. It's a romantic plan in a way. Three out of 30. That's funny. Yeah, it never. It doesn't quite go how you think. So, one of the things that started this journey that I'm on is there was a book on. I just Googled like how to do rental properties. I forgot exactly what the book was called. It was by Brandon Turner. He's one of the fellows over on BiggerPockets. Oh, whoa, okay, so sorry. I didn't realize it was going to do that. It cut the stream when I went off and Googled something. All right, so the book I read was by Brandon Turner. He has a bunch of books on real estate. I don't remember which one I read. I don't like this. It looks like I'm talking down to you. This work. That's fine. Okay, so it's not really fine. That's not fine. It's not fine at all. Okay. Right. So I read this book. It was a book on real estate, and he talked about how he acquired his first properties, some of the first deals he did, and some of the things he learned, and different strategies for how people could get into real estate. And his whole point was that a lot of people think that you need a lot of money to get into real estate, but it's not true. You need a good understanding of what you want to accomplish, and you need to be able to communicate that to the people that you need to work with. So the lender, the real estate agent, if you're going to use one of those, the property manager, if you're going to use one of those. and the contractor. So you need things that most people actually have. So most people have the intelligence to understand real estate. They have the intelligence to recognize the right choice in a lot of situations, but they get scared because of like the big numbers and the debt. But realistically, fear is actually what holds people back there. Yeah. So let's see. Let me reposition again. All right. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I started by reading one of those books by Brandon Turner. He has a lot of them. And then after that, I talked to New Black Death, in which I know I didn't start out liking him, but he does a lot of this stuff, and he's pretty ambitious with it. And he was kind enough to share with me some resources to look up and gave me encouragement, and that was great. So then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Kiyosaki. Forgot his first name, but Rich Dad Poor Dad was an incredible book. If you haven't read it, it's a very good book. Then there have been, it's just been a train of real estate books by different people, and it's been great. And I can't wait. I can't wait to start. So I figured I'd fire up a live stream and tell you guys about it. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Such a weird... Yeah, they do. Yeah. Thank you, Sean. I will. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man. I've got this weird relationship with YouTube here. Properties early on, yeah. Yep. I'm not sure what I need to do to get into the National Association of Realtors. Thanks, Q. But I think it's just a fee, actually. Oh, man. I guess a lot of this information isn't like super accessible, and I think I need to well, to get the real estate license is an online course. Is the National Association of Realtors an online course too? Excuse me. This delay, it's intolerable. You have to take classes and pass a test to get license. You have to have the license. Yeah. Yep. I knew that. You got to have the license first. It's once you have the license, what else do you have to do to join the National Association of Realtors? Is there like some qualification you have to have, or do you just go to them and say, here's my license, I want to join, let me join? And then you join and you get an account or something and you get access to the MLS? Because I have found what looks like the MLS, but you have to pay for it. And it's like, I want to say it's like $30 a month, which doesn't seem like that much money. It's just like joining Mensa. Well, I don't know about joining Mensa either, so. Oops. I am sorry, I have no idea. I have no idea how to do this on my phone, so I'm not going to. I'll just suffer with the delay. So, I mean, obviously, the recurring cost of $30 a month, if that is the actual MLS, which it looked like it is, getting your license is relatively cheap, and I would only have to do it in one state, and then I could join the National Association of Realtors. And then, I'm assuming I would get access to that. You have to have the YouTube Studio app on your phone to change the settings. Okay, well, I don't think I'm streaming from that. Anyway, does Mensa cost money? If Mensa costs money, then how much? It's just, I'm just doing the numbers on, is it a better use of my time to join the association, get access to the MLS? Is that going to be longer term, more sustainable access than just paying for it as needed? Perfect. Oh, okay. All right, well, so you own 3 houses. Do they all cash flow? Dues and renewal fees. Okay. I guess I need to look into this. I need to look it up. Makes me wonder about your market and how things are. Cash flow means, well, I mean, you said that the rent's always more than the mortgage. But I mean, after all expenses, do you net positive? Do you have profit? Are your profits positive? Positive profit is cash flow. That's what that means. Cash flow is just like a vocab word in real estate. So like you could have a profit, you could have a property, but the mortgage plus the other expenses that you have with the property might be more than the rent, so it wouldn't cash flow. It's tough, yeah. You get Section 8. If you do Section 8, you get guaranteed rent. Now there's, that's investors are hot and cold on Section 8. There are some who have figured out how to do it, and they do it really well, and they make an absolute killing doing Section 8. But a lot of investors don't. They don't want to try and get into that niche. And I don't know. I'm really curious about it because it seems like a relatively good way to take a piece of shit property and get some tenants in there, and it'll be okay. It seems, and a lot, location is a really big deal for real estate. So, what works in one area isn't going to work in another area. You have to pay the water. Can't charge tenants unless it's a single family. Basically controls your property. Okay. So the government controls it, but you have to pay for it? Am I understanding that correctly? So like the government comes in and they say, this, and this isn't what it needs to be. You need to change this. Is it that kind of deal? And then you have to foot the bill for that change. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. I'll be up at like midnight and continuing on down the road, driving west towards Oregon. Break things. Yeah. Yep. Are there things you can do to make it more of a selective process for tenants with Section 8? Like, can you? Because the whole point is to get them, is to get people with no money housing. But are there things you can do to be more selective? So, like have a screening process that makes it difficult for, like, there are legal things that you can't do to discriminate, but could you like say, in order for me to accept you as a tenant, you have to let me go look at where you live right now, and I need to be able to look at where you live and see how you keep it. You go this Section 8 people. Okay, so if I could ask the Section 8 people that type of question. So like if I had a property and it was zoned in an area where Section 8 would be a possibility, I could talk to them and say, okay, what can I do legally and still be within your guidelines? I would have to ask them that stuff. But look, there are investors who do it and they're very successful. So it's not something that's impossible, but it kind of changes the math that you have to do when you make that property and I don't know, and try and fill that niche in the market. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.